Yay, welcome. Thanks for joining me. Debz Cooper, Global Stressologist, here to join you with some wisdom. And the wisdom today is how to deal with incompetence. Even just saying that word makes me cringe. So I'd love to know if you're here watching live or if you're watching the replay, and where you are in the world would be super inspiring. So thank you for joining me. As I said, Debz Cooper, Global Stressologist. And today we're talking about how to deal with incompetence. Even that word makes me, ugh. But first, the dictionary. You know how I love the dictionary. So when I looked it up in the dictionary, it said an inability to do something successful, ineptitude. And I went, oh, inability to do something successful. Yep, that's clearly what it means. And ineptitude means a lack of skill or ability. So for me, incompetence is you just want to go, ugh, and you get so frustrated. So like, how frustrated do you get with incompetence? And you know what it's like, because when you really encounter incompetence, you want to scream. That's always a great one. Scream! Or lash out, or maybe throw the phone against the wall. Anything triggering here? Going, oh, maybe. Or you put the phone down and walk away, or you cut people off or something when you're dealing with it. Or my favorite is actually when you're driving and you deal with incompetent drivers or people on the radio or whatever it is, or you're on the headset talking to someone, whatever, and you just lash out. You know what I'm talking about. And you can go from a 0 to 1,000,000 immediately. Like you just go to the crazy world. So you know what I'm talking about with incompetence. And let's just stop talking about the feeling of incompetence, because I'm sure you've felt it more than once. And if you haven't felt it, then you are telling yourself lies, because you've clearly experienced it. We all know everyone has. So now we know about the levels it can take you to. I want you to know, how does it happen to you? Why does it happen to you? How does it happen to you? What's the bigger picture going on here? So if you experience something over and over again, and I've talked about this repeatedly myself, if you're experiencing something over and over again, it means there's a lesson in there that you are missing. There's a lesson in there for you that you have missed. That's okay. Don't beat yourself up over it. There's just a lesson in there for you. So with that lesson, it may not come clear straight away. It may not, but it will become clear. So you must have that trust and faith that you're going to understand what the bigger picture is, the lesson, whatever you want to call it, when it's ready. And the key there is when it's ready, because often we may not be ready for the lesson or to see or hear the lesson that's going on. So you will see or hear it when you're ready. So when we look at that, incompetence comes from a lack of direction. And if I say a lack of direction from you, or uneducation, or unawareness. And when I'm saying these things, is anything registering in there? Anything at all? Is there a little bit of, oh, I get this. So that incompetence comes from that. And you'll notice I said the word from you. And the reason I said from you is that is where we're going to go. Because people are incompetent around you because of you. Now, you may not want to hear that. You may not like to hear that. You may go, yeah, and hear it, but not hear it, truly. So whatever way, I can tell you that people are incompetent around you because of you. And there's many reasons for that. So maybe you haven't made it clear what you would like. Maybe you haven't made it clear what you'd like. Maybe you've got someone doing the task who doesn't know what they're doing. Meaning you jumped on desperation, got someone to help you with something or do something, and they don't know what they're doing. So when I'm saying these things, I'd love you to really listen to, go to a moment of when you were dealing with incompetence and see if any of these register, because I'd really love to know. So you haven't shown them the task properly. is the other one. That's a good one. Yep, I haven't shown the task or given them all the details. And you haven't asked if they actually understand what you're saying or explaining. And when I talk about they don't understand what you're saying or explaining, you have to be clear what you would like. You must be very specific if I would like A, B, and C. If they only do A, that means they've only heard A. They haven't heard B and C. So you haven't shown them the task properly, or they don't understand what you're saying, or you haven't given a scenario or a situation. There's a bigger picture going on here, and the truth is you haven't made it clear. And one of my favorites is you haven't checked if they actually have a desire to do what you're asking them. Because sometimes you think this will be a great task for someone, but they may not want to do it. They may be going, no, I want out, I want out, I want out, whatever it is. So unless you actually ask if they want to do it, you won't know. So they may not have a desire to do that task. And that is where incompetence can come into play. So the main thing when you're dealing with incompetence is actually you. This is who we're dealing with. We're actually dealing with you. You are the catalyst. You are the problem. You are the accountability one. You. How does that feel? Eek. So a couple of weeks ago, I ordered something. Simple. Ordered something online. Yep. It still hasn't turned up. Okay. Really loving the fact that it hasn't turned up. No, you can think this. So this week I've been chasing it up. And when I say chasing it up, I've been chasing up the couriers. I've chased up the original senders. I've been checking the terms of the sale. Let's say I spent a lot of time pushing a wet noodle. Or a lot of time with no result, as I could say it. So I spent a lot of time, if I put my hourly rate in, was pretty scary to think how much time I actually invested into something that really didn't need all the investigating into. But I did. Today, I actually finally got a person who understood my frustration. My simple theory was you order something, you have it delivered in 2 to 3 days. If they've got it in stock, it tells you on the website they've got it in stock. Yep. This is not my only order I've ever done. In fact, a couple of things I ordered recently haven't been in stock, and they've rung me 2 days later and said, we haven't got it in stock. And you're like, okay, incompetence coming in here, incompetence coming in. You can see how I'm getting. So the end result, when I actually got my person who understood my frustration, and I would say I'd been dealing with incompetence all the way through to this, all the way through. So when I got that person, I felt, wow, I've got somebody who can actually understand where I'm at. Now, the end result is nothing, because one parcel's still waiting to be collected and one's in transit, and nothing can change, and we don't even know where the transit one is because nothing's being updated. But the lovely salesperson I spoke to heard me and understood what I was coming from. And I actually realized at that moment, all I required was someone to listen to me. Okay, secretly, actually, he had a desire to have it being resolved. Yes, and it miraculously turned up on my doorstep. Like, simple. Just turn up. That'd be great. So that would have been ideal. But at the end of the day, she actually listened and she heard me. And what I realized was the initial, I wanted it delivered and wanted it to happen now, wasn't going to happen. And I had unrealistic expectations on my desire, what I wanted. Now, that was a bit of a kick to me. Even though I talk about human behavior, I was like, oh, this is really unrealistic. So my number one lesson in this was just this. I felt not heard or understood. Every time I approach someone, they'll palm me off to another department. I'd get cut off. I'd spend 18 minutes on the phone here, 27 minutes on the phone here between clients. I'd be going, okay, coming up to a client time, I'm going to have to get off this phone when you're on hold for so long. Let's just say it was a tad frustrating. I think I lost a few brain cells in the waiting process. So you know what I'm talking about. You know that. So when I talk about unrealistic expectations, what I discovered was I didn't appreciate the pandemic we're in right now. I completely forgot about the world. And I sat in my bubble that was so important that not even recognizing that it was affecting the couriers, the store staff, in fact, everyone in one form or another. So I forgot about everyone outside my little bubble, my little snow globe, and realized everyone's dealing with everything and everyone's got the same sort of stuff going on and they all want everything yesterday. So once the moment I realized that, it humbled me. It actually humbled me to go, oh, I got it. I was entitled and I didn't see the bigger picture. I didn't see the lesson, absolutely, but I didn't see the bigger picture of what everyone's dealing with right now. So when you think about that, and you're thinking about that time you're dealing with incompetence, is there anything in there that's resonated with you? Maybe a little bit of humbleness, maybe a little bit of entitlement, maybe you hadn't made it clear, maybe. So I'm going to ask you something. And when you think about this for your next level of incompetence that you're going to encounter, I ask you to ask yourself, am I entitled or humbled? Now, you know what entitled is, don't you? It's when you're raising yourself above anybody else and everything else, and you're want. That's entitled. And you get it sometimes you don't. Or when you're humbled and you're gracious and you're thankful for what you get right here, right now, and you're living in the present. So when you encounter incompetence, where are you sitting? Up there or neutral? Do you have unrealistic expectations? Now that's a thought. Do you have unrealistic expectations on life? On what other people should or shouldn't be doing for you? There's these little things that are coming in now in your mind when we think about that. And is this a really important issue to be having a hissy over? Is this a really important issue to be throwing your toys out of the cot and shouting and throwing your phone and breaking your phone or cutting people off in the traffic because they did this and this or whatever it is, or takes you from 0 to 1,000 very quickly? Is it really an important issue if you're having a hissy over? And recently I saw a social media post and it said, if you're holding on to this for longer than, actually I don't know the whole post. If you're holding on to this for longer than 5 days, is it going to be around in 5 years? Are you spending so much time on it? Actually, maybe I'll probably find it and I'll load it here. It was actually quite good. It was going, how much time are you going to spend on something and hold on to it? And is it really, really, really worth it? And are you coming from that entitled space or are you coming from that humbled space? So on a side note, and I will take accountability here for my incompetence of everyone else, I'm going to own incompetence right now, because if I had ordered the products earlier, I wouldn't have been in this space. So it's about taking accountability to the situation you're in. If I'd ordered earlier, we wouldn't have this issue that I'm dealing with over numerous parcels. So keep yourself in that humbled space, send your love and energy out there, and you might just surprise yourself what you do to get through. If you have any questions, let me know. Bang them in the comments. Send me a private message. If you'd like to talk privately, send me a message as well. Other than that, this is Debz Cooper, over and out. No longer talking about how to deal with incompetence. That's me signing off. Thank you, people. Bye.